everybody. So today we're going to be doing our Pondering Plumbing Possibilities worksheet. I've got a little bit of that started for you right now so you can kind of get an idea of what that's going to be looking like. Your handout has an example of its own, and it gives you these modules for you to look at. So these are just 4 basic simple shapes that you can use to build your picture. I started right here by just making a simple straight pipe, which all that was instead of doing all these crazy twists and turns, I just did a cylinder shape. So we all know what a cylinder is. It's like our tube of Pringles, right? That cylinder shape is almost exactly like a rectangle, except for instead of doing a straight line, I'm going to do a rounded line that helps me to get that 3-dimensional shape look to it. So when we've got our 3D shapes instead of our 2D shapes, we go from being a shape to a form. When it's got that 3-dimensional look to it, it's a form. So when I go through, I started a little bit for you. I'm going to continue on this so you can see how to do this. So I'm going to go through, pick one of these modules. However you do that is up to you. Yours does not have to look like mine. I think, I haven't really done this one right here, so I'm going to try that. It looks a little more complicated. Now, this shape right here, I need to remember wherever something connects, I'm going to see a little bit of a rounded edge to it because these are 3D. It's not going to be straight across. How can I connect this? Let's try an elbow joint. Okay? So if I'm going to see that elbow joint, I might have this shape that goes around to show that this pipe is going in to a different one. And it's called an elbow joint because it looks like the bend of an elbow. So that one's pretty simple. Now, I've got that curve. Boom, boom, boom. So now you can kind of see a little bit of basic shapes that I've made using those modules. I just repeated a couple different ones of each of these over and over again and just put them together however I felt like I could. Right down here you can see I overlapped, so I made this one look like it's going underneath this pipe. And you can absolutely do something like that. This is not a straightforward do it this way kind of project. This is about having fun putting it together the way that you want it to look. Now, our next step is going to be adding that value. Our last lesson, I showed you an example of how to do some value using shading, but this time we're doing that hatching and cross-hatching. So I showed you a little bit of that at the end of the video. If you need a refresher, you can always go back and watch that, but I'm going to show you again here. So when I go in, I'm going to be finding the spots on each of these pipes that are going to have shadows. So I need to think, again, as always, where is my light source? Right now, you can see the brightest spots are right on top of this pipe right here. So that tells me that my source of light is coming from right above. Now, if I've got a light source coming straight down, then again, that's going to tell me everything over here that's right on top and not blocked by anything is also going to be bright white on the top. So that means all of my shadows are going to be on the bottom. When I go through and do this, I'm going to be very careful to make my little hatch marks and remember that they should have a little bit of a curve to them. They don't have to go crazy and wiggly, but I want to make sure that they curve so that it shows me that this is a rounded shape. Now, when I get farther to the bottom, I can put a bunch of itty-bitty, tiny little hatch marks. That's going to make it look darker towards the bottom and give it a darker shadow. Same thing's going to happen on the inside here. So I can start to add little hatch marks going inward. tiny close together ones for dark area, farther apart longer ones for that lighter shade. I can add some shadows in this area too, because I know that's probably not going to get a lot of light. I could even, if I really feel like it should be very dark, just color it in. So there you have it. You can see right here down towards the end I was getting a little bit sloppy, so it kind of loses that 3D effect. That's because I don't really have one point that's pretty bright and the rest of it's pretty dark. On this spot it's starting to do a little bit better, but over here you can see it's kind of flat. So how you do your shading really makes a difference in how it's going to turn out. I can also point out to you that you might have noticed I started going back and forth over top of my hatch marks so that they kind of crisscrossed. That's my cross hatching, and that helps to get some of those darker shadows in if I'm struggling to do it with straight hatch marks. So you can try out any of those techniques I did. If you're confused about any of it, I am perfectly happy to answer any questions or do a video call and show you how to do it a little bit more in detail. So for the most part, I just want you to go through, have fun with it, figure out some kind of cool, crazy, kooky way you can put these things together, and see if you can show that to me. I'd love to see you post this on Artsonia so I can check them out. All right, until next time, have a fabulous day.